light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. Let me not forget my function. Let me not forget my function. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness, my function of forgiveness. Let me not forget my function. That's lesson 63 and 64 we're having a review for here on today's lesson, which is 82. Out of A Course in Miracles, we're reading from the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles this year. And this is for lesson March the 23rd of 2025. And I'm Forgiveness Willie, and I said I'd bring a daffodil to show you today, so I thought, well, there's a place where I can stick it when you can see it. Narcissuses, we talked about them yesterday, was Daffodil Day, and so here's a narcissus. That's the Latin name, which would include daffodils and several other crocuses. I think that you check me on that, make sure I'm telling you correctly. Lesson 81. Our ideas for review today are: I am the light of the world. How holy am I, who have been given the function of lighting up the world? How holy are you for God giving you the function of lighting up the world, bringing the light of love to a dark place? Let me be still before my holiness. In its calm light, let all my conflicts disappear. In its peace, let me remember who I am. Some specific forms for applying this idea when special difficulties seem to arise might be: let me not obscure the light of the world in me. Let the light of the world shine through this appearance. This shadow will vanish before the light. And then that was 60. You know what, I just read to you lesson 81. That was the first part of it. 82, excuse me. We will review these ideas today. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. My forgiveness is the means by which the light of the world finds expression through me. My forgiveness is the means by which I become aware of the light of the world in me. My forgiveness is the means by which the world is healed, together with myself. Let me then forgive the world that I may be healed along with it. That's a good idea, huh? Let me forgive the world that I might be healed that it might be healed along with me. Suggestions for specific forms for applying this idea. So if you're tempted, tell yourself, let peace extend from my mind to yours. And whoever seems to be causing you difficulty, say their name to yourself silently. Or you guess you could do it out loud too. Let peace extend from my mind to yours, John, or whoever. I share the light of the world with you, Jane, or whoever, whatever the person's seeming to be causing you a little discomfort. Through my forgiveness, I can see this as it is. We're not going to go unconscious anymore. We're going to start waking up. Let me not forget my function is lesson 64. That was lesson 63 review. 64 review is let me not forget my function, which is what? The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. Forgiveness is my function as the light of the world. That was lesson 62. Let me not forget my function. I would not forget my function because I would remember myself. I cannot fulfill my function if I forget it. And unless I fulfill my function, I will not experience the joy that God intends for me. Suitable specific forms of this idea include, let me not use this to hide my function from me. I would use this as an opportunity to fulfill my function. This may threaten my ego, but cannot change my function in any way. So be you, and you know, the exact words you use are not important, he says. Matter of fact, let's go back and look at the introduction to Review 2. Last year I was telling him, and I was doing twice a day, 2 15-minute practice periods. I think after looking at it a little closer, he's only really requiring 1 15-minute practice period. Now, whether you did it twice a day or once a day, I'd encourage you to go ahead and have an evening. If you're liking a 15-minute practice period, morning and evening, continue doing it. But he's only requiring 1. Is what that's. We're going to read it again. I want you to look at it in mind. How much time does he want you to spend? 15 minutes, and then many throughout the day times. In the morning, you'll think more about probably the first idea. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. And the afternoon, let me not forget my function. In your shorter practice periods. But I think he's only requiring us to do 1 longer practice period. And I think that's because he doesn't want you to feel overwhelmed. Make it easy. If it's easy for you to do 2 for 15 minutes, I'm sure he would be that's totally fine. But he doesn't want you to feel overwhelmed. So just one 15-minute period is all he's really requiring. I just want to make sure that was clear, because last year I was telling you guys to do it twice. I'm trying to get you to really move forward quickly. Okay, introduction. We are now ready for another review. We will begin where our last review left off and cover 2 ideas each day. The earlier part of each day will be devoted to one of these ideas and the latter part of the day to the other. We will have 1 longer exercise period and frequent shorter ones in which we practice each of them. So there he's saying just 1 longer practice period and then many frequent shorter ones. The longer practice period will follow this general form. Take about 15 minutes for each of them. When he said each of them, I thought, well, he wants 2 for the day. But he's talking about each of them throughout the next 10 days. You'll have 10. If you do it strictly the way he's saying it. The longer practice periods will follow this general form. Take about 15 minutes for each of them and begin by thinking about the ideas for the day and the comments that are included in the assignments. Devote some 3 or 4 minutes to reading them over slowly, several times if you wish, and then close your eyes and listen. So he's considering your reading to be part of your practice period. So I just want to point out that reading can be a pretty profound type of meditation, which he calls a practice period to eliminate the arguments that, well, that's not a meditation, that's reading. Repeat the first phase of the exercise period if you find your mind wandering, but try to spend the major part of the time listening quietly but attentively. Spend the major amount of your time listening quietly but attentively. But he says that if your mind wanders and you're not thinking about the lesson, go back to the first part, which is reading it again. There is a message waiting for you. Be confident that you will receive it. Remember that it belongs to you and that you want it. Do not allow your intent to waver in the face of distracting thoughts. Realize that whatever form such thoughts may take, they have no meaning and no power. Replace them with your determination to succeed. Do not forget that your will has power over all fantasies and dreams. Trust your will to see it through and carry you beyond them all. So you just have the willingness to let God teach you. You don't have to conjure it up yourself and work. No force is needed. Regard these practice periods as dedications to the way, the truth, and the life. Refuse to be sidetracked into detours, illusions, and thoughts of death. You are dedicated to salvation. Be determined each day not to leave your function unfulfilled. Reaffirm your determination in the shorter practice periods as well, using the original form of the idea for general applications and more specific forms when needed. Some specific forms are included in the comments which follow the statement of the ideas. These, however, are merely suggestions. It is not the particular words we use that matter. And of course today, the light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness, and let me not forget my function. Okay, now let's go back and look in our text reading. And we are in chapter 10, and we're ready for section 2, the decision to forget. Unless you first know something, you cannot dissociate it. Knowledge must precede dissociation, so that dissociation is nothing more than a decision to forget. What has been forgotten then appears to be fearful, but only because the dissociation is an attack on truth. You are fearful because you have forgotten, and you have replaced your knowledge by an awareness of dreams because you are afraid of your dissociation, not of what you have dissociated. When what you have dissociated is accepted, it ceases to be fearful. So you've been putting the things out of your mind because you basically you forgot forgiveness. You forgot that your oneness with your brother and God is the only reality. But you've kind of conjured up an idea that you're separate and that you need to defend yourself, and the best defense is to avoid what you don't like. And paragraph 2. But today we're going to say that the light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. Let me not forget my function of forgiveness. Paragraph 2. Yet to give up the dissociation of reality brings more than merely lack of fear. In this decision lie joy and peace and the glory of creation. Offer the Holy Spirit only your willingness to remember, for He retains the knowledge of God and of yourself for you, waiting for your acceptance. Remember, He tells us, don't wait on time any longer than what's needed. So He's waiting for us, but let's not delay our joy. Give up gladly everything that would stand in the way of your remembering, for God is in your memory. His voice will tell you that you are part of Him when you are willing to remember Him and know your own reality again. Let nothing in this world delay your remembering of Him, for in this remembering is the knowledge of yourself. To remember is merely to restore to your mind what is already there. You do not make what you remember. You merely accept again what is already there, but was rejected. The ability to accept truth in this world is the perceptual counterpart of creating in the kingdom. The ability to accept truth in this world is the perceptual counterpart of creating in the kingdom. God will do His part if you will do yours, and His return in exchange for yours is the exchange of knowledge for perception. Nothing is beyond His will for you, but signify your will to remember Him, and behold, He will give you everything but for the asking. Paragraph 4. When you attack, you're denying yourself. You are specifically teaching yourself that you are not what you are. Your denial of reality precludes the acceptance of God's gift because you have accepted something else in its place. If you understand that this is always an attack on truth, and truth is God, you will realize why it is always fearful. If you further recognize that you are part of God, you will understand why it is that you always attack yourself first. Let's go back and read paragraph 4 again. When you attack, you're denying yourself. Okay, remember that. When you attack, you are denying yourself. You are specifically teaching yourself that you are not what you are, because you're a love being, you're not an attack being. Your denial of reality precludes the acceptance of God's gift because you have accepted something else in its place. If you understand that this is always an attack on truth, and truth is God, you will realize why it is always fearful. If you further recognize that you are part of God, you will understand why it is that you always attack yourself first. Oh my, what we do with our belief systems that are not helping us be happy. All attack is self-attack. It cannot be anything else. Arising from your own decision not to be what you are, it is an attack on your identification. Again, this is paragraph 5. All attack is self-attack. It cannot be anything else. Arising from your own decision not to be what you are, it is an attack on your identification. Attack is thus the way in which your identification is lost. Because when you attack, you must have forgotten what you are. And if your reality is God's, when you attack, you are not remembering Him. This is not because He is gone, but because you are actively choosing not to remember Him. And the last paragraph to finish this section, 6. If you realize the complete havoc this makes of your peace of mind, you would not make such insane decision. You would not make such an insane decision. Okay, since it's such a havoc, let's look at it again. All attack is self-attack. This is paragraph 5 again. All attack is self-attack. It cannot be anything else. Arising from your own decision not to be what you are, it is an attack on your identification. Attack is thus the way in which your identification is lost. Because when you attack, you must have forgotten what you are. And if your reality is God's, when you attack, you're not remembering Him. This is not because He is gone, but because you are actively choosing not to remember Him. 6, the last paragraph. If you realize the complete havoc if you realize the complete havoc this makes of your peace of mind, you could not make such an insane decision. To attack is an insane decision, he's saying. You make it only because you still believe it can get you something you want. Well, let's quit believing that attack's going to ever get us anything that we want. Run from it. It follows then that you want something other than peace of mind. But you have not considered what it must be. What could you want other than peace of mind? He says you haven't really considered what it is. Yet the logical outcome of your decision is perfectly clear. If you will only look at it. Come back again. Yet the logical outcome of your decision is perfectly clear. If you will only look at it. By deciding against your reality, you have made yourself vigilant against God and His kingdom. And it is this vigilance that makes you afraid to remember Him. Oh my. And that's a common lot of our brothers and sisters. Let's see if we can awaken so we can help our brothers and sisters not to think they're going to receive anything from attack. Let's just do our lesson. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. Let me remind them that I'm invulnerable and I can live in such a way to demonstrate that their little comments to me that might have been said in a snide way as a little attack on my grandeur with God means nothing. And I can let it mean nothing. Demonstrate my forgiveness. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. Let me not forget my function. It will help the whole world and ourselves. Okay, let's see. Before we go back and look at our lesson briefly and close with our song, let's see what's going on around the world today. And it's still Ramadan, and it's also Lent. Other than that, it's World Meteorological Day. Meteorological Day. Did I say it right? Near Miss Day. Cuddly Kitten Day. And Puppy Day. And Black Marriage Day. And you know what? Last year on this day, we talked about the aerial school. I think it was in 1991 that the ET landed, and typical big black eyes and big head, small chin, big forehead, came out of a ship, and there were 62 students there that saw this being with tight-fitting clothes, and he came out, and when you'd look at him in the eye, you would understand what he had to say. You didn't have to speak. He was telepathically communicated to some 60-some children. And the message was, hey, you protect your environment. Be an environmentalist, protect it, care for it. And I thought, well, that's pretty good. That was in Zimbabwe, and of the Shona people, I think. And of the Shona people, that's our word for peace is from Shona today, and it is Rogare. Rogare. And I have a friend who knew the exact pronunciation, so she told me. Her name's Kyla. She's actually studied Course in Miracles a little herself. I think she's making her way through it. Anyway, Rogare. Thank you, Kyla, for telling me the proper pronunciation. I hope I did it right. If not, be sure to let me know. And the Shona people are, they're in Zimbabwe, but that's a modern day construct. It's actually, they're between the Zambezi and the Liporo rivers, north of the Lundy River. And something also I found kind of interesting, I like the word great mystery for God. And the Osage had the word Wakanta, and that's the land I live on, is Osage land, the land of, Neosho, the land of many waters. But I'm in this whole region in here, many, many miles, southwest Missouri, Arkansas, over and into Oklahoma. It's all Osage territory. And their word for God, or the great mystery, was Wakanta. Well, the word for the Shona for the great mystery is Zenora. So I thought that was kind of cool. But anyway, Rogare. Rogare is our word for peace today. Thank you, Shona people. Let's see. Oh, and out of Seed Savers Exchange, we've got the tall Utah celery, and it is an Apium genera. Species is graveolens. And the tall Utah celery, the crisp, stringless 12-inch stalks of this celery variety impact a light, refreshing flavor to soups and stocks. This vigorous 24 to 30-inch plant has deep green leaves, light green stalks, and compact hearts. It's a biennial, and it's 100 days to maturity, 80,000 seeds to the ounce. Okay, and looks like we're looking real good on time today. So let's go back and just take a quick brief look at our lesson and what we're going to be doing today. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. My forgiveness is the means by which the light of the world finds expression through me. My forgiveness is the means by which I become aware of the light of the world in me. My forgiveness is the means by which the world is healed along with myself. Let me then forgive the world that I may be healed along with it. And then let me not forget my function. I would not forget my function because I would remember myself. I would fulfill my function if I forget. And unless I fulfill my function, I will not experience the joy that God intends for me. Okay, and then he gives some examples of things that you can say in the morning if someone disturbs you, or if you get a thought that's causing you some upset. You could either just say, the light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness, or you might tell somebody who's disturbing you in your mind, let peace extend from my mind to yours, and name the person. Or I share the light of the world with you, and name the person. Or through my forgiveness I can see this as it is. And then if it's in the afternoon, let me not forget my function. You can tell yourself if you get disturbed by a loss of peace. Or you might say specifically, let me not use this to hide my function from me. Let's don't go unconscious. I would use this as an opportunity to fulfill my function. Hey, here's a challenge, an opportunity to do what I came here for, to practice forgiveness. And then this may threaten my ego, but cannot change my function in any way. Okay. Well, thank you all so much for joining me. Let's all see what we can do about remaining in Rogare today, in peace today. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. I am the means God has appointed for the salvation of the world, and so are you. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. Let me not forget my function. Let me not forget my function. Let me not try to substitute mine for God's. Let me forgive and be happy. Let me forgive and be happy. For this is the world, it is my function. It is my function to save. Let me not forget my function. Let me not forget my function. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. Rogare.